So last week, or maybe even 2 weeks ago, depending on when I post this video, was an interesting week for love. And it made me lose the hope that I never really had in the first place, if I'm being honest. So first we had the viral TikTok series that I'm sure you have heard of because it was literally everywhere. The Who the F Did I Marry by the TikToker Risa Tisa literally took over TikTok and took over the internet for the last 2 weeks, I would say. Like, it became so viral to the point where it became beyond TikTok. Like, people on YouTube, Instagram, people who don't even go on social media like that were like, yo, what's going on? Like, what's the tea with this series? But basically, Risa Tisa, she's a TikToker, and she decided to share her story about dealing with a pathological liar, which was her ex-husband. And there's 50 parts to this series, and each video is like 10 minutes long. So like, if you do the math, that's about like 5 hours or 6 hours or even 8, no, 5. Okay, I'm not really good at math, but I think it's like 5 hours. Wait, 10, 20. Okay, I don't care, I'm not doing the math. But you know, it's gonna take at least 5 hours to finish the videos. I did go through all the videos, even though I really was not going to. I put it on my Instagram story. I was like, hey y'all, please summarize this for me because I do not want to watch it. But everyone kept telling me just to watch it so I can actually know the full details. And if you summarize the video, you're gonna miss a lot of important parts. So yeah, if you do have time, I do recommend watching it if you're interested in what's going on or you want to know the tea. But yeah, it's a lot going on. And then we had the Nigerian singer Omah have a concert in London recently, and he decided to bring up a fan on stage, and she was a woman. She was front row, and she I don't know why I'm laughing because it's not funny, but like, it's just like so much going on. But during Omalay's concert, he brought up a fan, and she was a woman, and they were dancing. The dancing got very risque, you know, a lot of things were happening. I didn't expect it to get to that point, but at this point I should not be surprised. And the thing is that I'm not even exaggerating. Like, I know I am a Gemini and we tend to be a little bit dramatic, but I am not over exaggerating. I will show you the video to show you exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, so that was the moment that shook the internet. A lot of people were like, whoa. So the situation with Omah and the girl would have not been a problem if she did not have a boyfriend. And what makes matters even worse is that she went to the concert with her boyfriend and they were front row. So he had a front row view to all that. Yeah. And listen, if there's one thing you should know about me, I am always for the girls. I try to support my girls. So that's why when this news broke out, I was like, okay, I was trying to find different perspectives. I was trying to find even different video angles. I was just trying to find something so I could, you know, support a fellow sister. But after doing all my research, I was like, nah, I can't. If I came up here trying to defend her, I would just be disingenuous. So yeah, we're not gonna do that. Anyways, these two events have inspired me to make today's video, and actually for a while I've been wanting to make a video on love and dating. I mean, I have already made a video on dating before. That was like quite a while back. Like, it's kind of crazy how like fast time flies by, because I made that video I think 5 months ago, or yeah, almost 5 or 6 months ago, but I feel like I've changed so much within that time. So I want to revisit the topic, but I'm going to talk about different points. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about these 2 viral moments that had the internet shook for the last, 2 or 3 weeks now. And I just want to ask you guys this question. Do you think that we're going through a love crisis? Love is not loving the way it used to? Relationships are not working out? Do you think we're going through that? Or is it just TikTok? Let's get into the video. Yeah. Part 1. Who the F did I marry? Explained. Well, I say explained, but I am not going to explain it in detail because there is a lot to go over. But I will give you enough details so you know what happened. Anyways, this section will feature an explanation and commentary. So let's get into it. Yeah. Y'all ready for this one? So in this series, she narrates her tumultuous relationship with her ex-husband, who is referred to as Legion, detailing a saga of drama, suspense, heartbreak, and betrayal. It's important to note that Legion is not his actual name, but Risa just used the name to conceal his identity, but that did not end up working out because some random TikToker, I don't even know how this TikToker found his identity and exposed him. Like, it's kind of crazy how people can just find you and expose you just like that. And Legion has actually responded to Risa and has made its own TikTok account, and we're gonna get into that later. So according to Risa, she met Legion back in March 2020 through Hinge and Facebook dating, just before the COVID-19 lockdown happened. And they quickly got married in January 2021, only to divorce in August that same year. And I know, yeah, that's a lot to happen in the span of like less than a month. Because if you listen to the story, it sounds like they've been married for like 20 plus years and that this happened over the duration of like years. But no, it really just happened in like a year. I mean, like, I've heard of stories where people fall in love like fairly quickly, so I guess it is possible, but I personally would not recommend getting married within a year of meeting someone. That's just my unsolicited advice, so y'all be safe out there. Risa claims that Legion, who originally presented himself as a vice president of a condiments company, which created a false sense of financial security for them, fabricated an intricate web of lies. Some of these lies include lying about phone calls, lying about who in his family is alive, and even faking documents to suggest that they can buy a house together. And before you guys start dogpiling on Risa, being like, girl, what's up? How did you not know the signs? Like, what was going on? I think we should take a step back because she has already taken accountability for her actions and has admitted that she should have been a little bit more smarter, just a little bit, just a little bit more smarter in this whole mess. And I think it's very easy to start blaming her, but let's not do that because, you know, there's a lot of factors that are coming into play with this whole thing, and we can just use her story and her mistakes as a way to avoid a situation like that for ourselves. But I will say that Legion was good at playing his part in the beginning because on their first dates, they were supposed to go to Cheesecake Factory. They lived on opposite ends, so they were meeting in the middle. But while Risa was driving to meet Legion, one of her tires blew out, and then she called them to be like, hey, this is what happened. I'm assuming that Risa thought that Legion would maybe cancel the date and be like, okay, next time we can do this. It's all good, don't worry about it. But instead, Legion drove down to meet Risa, and then they drove to a gas station, I believe, and he helped her change her tire, and he paid for the tire as well. And I know tires are not cheap. And they ended up going to Cheesecake Factory after they got her tire all fixed out. So it was a really nice experience for her. She said they walked in hand and like everything was perfect. I don't know how old she is, but I remember she talked about how she wanted to get married because she felt like it was her time. She didn't want to wait any longer. So when Legion comes into her life, you know, saves the day, he rescues her, they have an amazing date, and he even tells her that he's looking for marriage, that he's not looking for just casual dating. But this is literally the only romantic gesture that Legion does throughout the entire story. So literally it sounds like only like the first 2 weeks-ish were good, and then after that, all hell broke loose. As the relationship progresses, Legion's fabrications start to unravel. He claims to have worked for Apple in California before becoming the vice president of a major condiments company in Atlanta. And this is all proven to be false. But Risa did believe that he had the coin because he was paying a majority of the bills when they moved in together. And mind you, this might shock you or piss you off, but they moved in together within 2.5 weeks of knowing each other because it was like quarantine time and she didn't want to quarantine alone, so he ended up moving into her, is it a studio she lives in or a house? He ended up moving in with her, and at that time when they moved in, they had only known each other for like 2 weeks. So that's already not the smartest thing to do. But anyways, when they were living together, he was paying majority of the bills, and she said it felt like a weight was lifted off her shoulders because she did not have to worry about money. And if you're wondering how did he pay all the bills and not be like super rich and super successful, well, she explained that her bills were not even that expensive. She didn't give us an amount of how much he was paying every month, but she said that it wasn't that much money. So that kind of makes sense why he was able to afford it, because it wasn't like a crazy amount of money. And I can definitely understand Risa, and I can imagine how she's feeling. They say money cannot buy happiness, but it can buy a lot of stuff. And it can certainly take the load and stress off of you, especially when the person who is helping you out is someone who you admire or who you love. So it creates a more positive and pleasant experience because you don't have to do stuff that you don't want to do to get the money. And I'm not going to elaborate on that, but you know what I mean. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Anyways, as time went on, things only got worse for the couple. Risa ended up getting pregnant, and unfortunately she did have a miscarriage. Well, I don't know if it's really unfortunate in this situation. I mean, first of all, a miscarriage, you know, it's something that a lot of women go through and it's not a good thing. But however, in Risa's case, I feel like it really saved her and helped her dodge a bullet. Because if she had a child with Legion, she would be tied down to him for life. And divorces get really crazy, especially when you have children involved, and it just makes the process way harder. So definitely be careful who you procreate with because you do not want to be stuck with that person for life. So when Risa had her miscarriage, her doctor gave her a pill to help the fetus pass through, because when you have a miscarriage, you're supposed to make the baby pass through naturally, but sometimes the baby does not pass through naturally, so then you have to do surgery or get a pill. The doctor gave her a pill and it didn't work, so she had to come in for surgery, because if you have a miscarriage and the baby is still inside of you, it can cause infections and it can just make your life not very good. So you need to let the baby pass through when you have a miscarriage. It cannot remain in your stomach. Legion was supposed to drive her to this appointment because obviously if she's getting surgery, she cannot drive herself to the appointment. But apparently he had an important business meeting coming up. And just remember, this man is not a VP. He's not a vice president at any type of company. So just keep that in mind. But because he had this important meeting, he could not drive Risa anymore. So instead, Risa's friend drove her to the hospital. When Risa is at the hospital, she receives text from Legion's assistant. And this assistant is saying things like,
"Hey Risa, I'm Legion's assistant. I'm here to help you out. If anything goes wrong or if you want me to pull Legion out of his meeting, just let me know. Don't hesitate. I will do whatever I can to help you."
And the gag is that Legion does not have an assistant. He was literally pretending to be his own assistant while talking to Risa, who was his girlfriend and would have been the mother of his child. I cannot make this ish up. That's what I'm telling you. Like, there's so many crazy things that happen throughout the story. It's just a lot. Like, it's a lot. And for one person to go through that in the span of less than a year, it's absolutely crazy. And I really do feel for her. And after I heard that, I was like, yep, this man, like, there's something wrong. He just lies to lie. Seems like the lies don't even benefit him in any way, but he just lies because he likes doing it, or maybe he just really can't stop. And that has got to be one of the most scariest people to ever come across, because imagine being with someone who you cannot trust at all. Like, everything out of their mouth is a lie. I wouldn't wish that upon anyone, and I am very grateful that I have never came across a pathological liar before in my life. Let me knock on wood real quick though. Where the hell is wood? Yeah. Anyways, Legion's lies start to really unravel when Risa finds out that he's using a fake social security number. And she decides to do a background check on him, and that's when she finds out that he is not a vice president at some condiments company. He works as a forklift temp driver, I believe. Forklift temp driver? What the fuck did I just say? I meant to say that he works as a temp forklift driver. I don't know what I said before. When Risa does her background check, she finds out a lot of stuff about Legion. He has lied about everything. Like, literally nothing he's told her was ever true. And that's why she was really questioning herself, like, who the F did I marry? Like, she does not even know who she married, because this man is crazy. Well, let me not say crazy, because you can actually tell that he does have some issues going on, which I'm going to talk about in a second. I'm not going to call him not normal, but like, he definitely has some issues going on. But Risa confronts him with all of this information, and she ends up kicking him out and also files for divorce, because this man cannot take any accountability. But that was a little summary of what happened. As I said, if you have time, I definitely recommend watching the full 50 parts so you know exactly the tea, because a lot of tea was spilt during those 50 sessions. And because Risa is so good at storytelling, and because the story itself is just absolutely absolutely crazy, she has become viral and this story has reached millions of people. The widespread resonance of Risa's story has created a platform for discussions about relationship red flags and the importance of addressing issues even when one is in a hurry or desires a specific outcome. I understand that marriage is seen as important for a lot of women, and honestly sometimes it's really pushed on women because they're like, your only purpose in life is to get married, have kids. I feel like that pressure was on Risa to get married, have kids, and just start her family, because I feel like she's probably in her mid-30s. I'm assuming though, I'm not sure. I don't think she was desperate, but she just thought it was her timing. So that's why she didn't pay attention to the red flags. And that just sucks though, because when the woman hits a certain age, they're like, oh, when are you gonna have kids? When are you gonna get married? Like, let people breathe a little bit, you know what I mean? And as I mentioned earlier, Legion did come out and reply, but I'm not even gonna show his videos. He was just speaking tomfoolery, like it did not make any sense. But if you go on TikTok, you can easily search it up and you can see his videos for yourself. His TikTok account is still there, I believe, but he's just talking nonsense. And recently, Risa posted a TikTok updating us on the whole situation, and basically she did confirm that Legion was diagnosed with bipolar disorder and schizophrenia when he was a child. His family did their best to try to help him. I think she said that his dad even stopped working or took time off work just to be able to help Legion get help, but he didn't want the help. There's only so much you can do because you can only help someone who wants to be helped. It's unfortunate, but you kind of just gotta let it be. I think the best way to move forward in a situation like that is to cut them off. Unfortunately, it sucks because they are family and you want to take care of them, you want to help them. But if they don't want the help, then there's really not much you can do. And this does not sound shocking at all, because if you listen to the whole series, the things you hear, it just sounds crazy, and it's like, no one would lie about things like this unless you actually had something wrong or something was going on. Like, you can tell that something is just not quite right. But at least our good sis Risa is free. She is divorced from him. She has no contact with him, and she is completely, on her own. She doesn't owe him anything. But I feel like her story just reminds us why it's so important to, first of all, see the red flags, be very aware of who you're with. Don't rush anything. Don't let anyone else rush you too. Try your best to ignore all of that outside noise. And also the story talks about mental health as well, which is super important. It's very important for us to prioritize our mental health and make sure that we are taking care of ourselves. And I hope one day Legion actually wants to get help and help himself. And I just feel like we shouldn't really give him attention because he clearly needs help. And when someone is going through a crisis, it's not very smart to be giving them more attention. I feel like the only attention they should be getting is from the professionals who can help them. But on the other hand, I feel like this whole situation kind of just teaches us the importance of being aware, especially in romantic relationships. And it also made a lot of women not really trust men like that. I feel like there's already this sentiment of not trusting men, but I think this story heightened people's fears of men. And I won't lie, after listening to the story, I was like, dang, I cannot trust men anymore. I mean, like, I always already thought that, because I just have not had a good experience. But before we talk about how stories like this and how TikTok itself influences our perception of love and relationships and dating, let's first talk about the Omah situation. Part 2, the Omah concert tragedy. I already gave y'all a quick summary at the beginning of the video, but I'll go into a little bit more detail on what happened. Plus, I was surprised to see that people have already found the couple's social media accounts. Like, the guy was already on Kai Cenat, and the girl also made her own public apology. Anyway, let's just get into this section of the video. So I was watching the video of Omah and the girl again, and I was just getting secondhand embarrassment. Like, it was actually hard to watch because when you see the boyfriend's facial expressions change, I was just like, oh, I just feel so bad for him. First, you see like they're both excited. Imagine your favorite artist inviting you on stage, and like only you, not just like not like 5 girls on stage, it's just you. Even her boyfriend has his phone out, like he's filming for her, but then you see his facial expression change as the dancing gets more risque. It's just so like, it's hard to watch. And what makes this whole situation worse is the fact that people were filming his reaction and they were clowning him and making fun of him. And he was getting embarrassed in front of all these people. Like, imagine you're experiencing something uncomfortable and like all eyes are on you because people want to see your reaction. And there's a video of him leaving the concert by himself. And just by the way he's walking, you can tell that he is upset. And I don't blame him, and I do feel bad for him. And what makes it worse is that when he's walking away, they're filming him and they're laughing. It's not a good look to have him walking away sad mad and you're just laughing at him, like, have some decorum. But most people do sympathize with the guy. One person said, in the history of disrespect, this is on a class of its own. And I feel like this tweet basically summarizes how people are feeling. Not everyone, but majority of people are feeling. However, other people do not think it's a big deal. One person said, I thought a whine wasn't cheating. And let me just explain what this person was trying to say. So basically, in some cultures, specifically Caribbean culture, a lot of people claim that whining it's a dance move that So yeah, some people do think that whining is not cheating. Other people do think that it's cheating. So, you know, to each their own, obviously. Personally, I would not really like my partner participating in that activity, if I'm being honest, and I would not be participating in that activity. But these two people have become very viral. The guy is like literally almost at 100K followers on Instagram. He posted a picture, has over 100K likes, and he was on Kai Cenat's stream. And apparently after the stream, Kai Cenat gave the guy either 10K or 20K. I am not sure how much he gave him, but he gave him some money. So people are really supporting him and he is getting more clout. A lot of girls are wanting him, you know, they see, I mean, I won't lie, he does look good. So like, you know, I don't blame the girls. So things are looking good for him, but for his girlfriend, not so much. The public does not seem to mess with her at all. And she's honestly, I think, digging herself deeper because she released an apology video. And that video, I'm not one to dissect an apology video because, you know, there's no perfect apology video. However, I feel like she should have just not posted the video at all. I don't think it helped her situation at all. But let me just show y'all bits and pieces of the video.
Since it was public, I want to publicly apologize to him. So yeah, let's just get straight into like the story. And the rumors, actually, I want to address the rumors first. So, why am I, okay, first of all, who's Fafa? No, who's that person? Whoever said that my name is Fafa, can you come? No, come please. Because how, I literally went on stage, I literally said my name is Jess. I said it twice. So I don't know how people are getting this like information from. That's not my name, please. Like, no. And also people saying that he's the one that bought the tickets. Who told you that as well? Who said he's the one that bought the tickets? It was me. I'm the one that bought the tickets. I wanted niggas to have a good time because, you know, like, we're young. Us women, we can do things as well. Like, if I want to take my man out, I'll take my man out. So yeah, like I said, it was me. Anyways, also, me and him, like, we've had private conversations about going on stage with Omah because he does this at his shows. If you really know Omah, you will know that he's done this in his past, at his past concerts. Like, this is what he does. This is literally what he does. Like, it's nothing new.
So that was the video. And first of all, I just want to ask, why do y'all always resort to death threats when someone does something that you don't like? It's actually a genuine question because I don't understand why people do that. You don't know the person, like, yeah, what she did was wrong, but why are you sending her death threats and threatening her? Like, what is the reason?
What was the reason? What was the reason? What was the reason?
But instead of actually addressing the way that she was dancing with Omah, which was everyone's concern, she was talking about things that were completely irrelevant. Like, first she was clarifying her name. Apparently people thought her name was something else, but like, that's so irrelevant, girl. Like, you did not need to include that. Then also she talked about that she was the one who bought the tickets. And I'm like, still, that's irrelevant to what happened. Like, okay, you bought the tickets, so does that give you the permission to go up on stage and start dancing with Omah in a very inappropriate way? That kind of rhymes. I mean, she did say that her man was okay with her going up on stage. However, I don't think he thought it would get to that point. If I'm playing devil's advocate, I can say like, okay, you know, she was really excited, and when he bent her over, she didn't want to say no because it's on stage and it might have been awkward. It might have created an awkward situation. However, you know, she was as I said, I'm trying to support my sis, but yeah, it's just, yeah. But she never addressed the way that she was dancing with Omah. Like, I never heard her say that it was inappropriate or that it was wrong. So we did not need this apology. Like, if you're not going to address the root of the problem, then there's no point of making an apology video. In the span of less than 2 weeks, we have seen and heard of the demise of 2 relationships. So I'd say it's been a great week for love. But with all of this going on, I just thought I would talk about this love crisis that I'm seeing going on. And let's see if we're to blame or if it's TikTok to blame. Part 3. So who are we blaming? Well, with all of this tomfoolery going on, it's easy to think that dating is just non-existent at this point. And there's no hope out there for any of us. I can't lie, I do feel like that sometimes, but even before these stories were brought to our attention, there has always been this anti-love rhetoric going on. So is it social media or are we the problem? Let's talk about it. In this loveless era, we find ourselves surrounded by technology, social media, and constant connectivity. We don't need to meet potential partners in person anymore when we have so much dating apps out there like Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, Facebook dating. The list goes on and on and on. And with all of these dating apps, we can meet so many people who we would have never run into if we didn't have these apps in the first place, which has its pros and cons. We can form great connections with people all over the world, but it also brings a problem of too many fish in the sea. And I want to ask you a question. You don't have to comment it down below if you don't want to. You can just keep it to yourself. Do you have a fear of settling down with someone because you feel like someone better is out there? You don't have to let me know, but just answer that if you want to answer that in the comments below, or just answer it to yourself. As for myself, if I had to answer that question, I would say no, I don't have a fear of settling down. If I found someone who I really liked and everything was good, I would definitely be okay with committing to them in a relationship. Everyone's different, so it's okay if you're kind of scared to settle down. Social media and TikTok in general does not help. Or let's say that you keep seeing cute couples all over your timeline, so now you start comparing your own relationship to what you're seeing online, and now you're mad because your relationship does not look like that. And you probably already know this famous quote, "Comparison is a thief of joy." That quote is very true. However, just because it's true doesn't mean that we still don't compare ourselves, especially now that we have access to so many people's lives on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and everything. It's very easy to compare yourself. But my advice for that would be to block that type of content. Let's say your love life is not really going that well, so just block that type of content on your feed until you are okay with seeing it again. Or let's say your finances are not doing that well, avoid seeing luxury, wealthy type of content on Instagram or TikTok. Just block that from your feed, and whenever you're ready to see that type of content again, go see it, because if it's out of sight, it's out of mind. But on social media, relationships are often presented in extremes, oscillating between idealized happiness and dramatic failures. When observing a seemingly content couple, people tend to either idolize them, drawing comparisons, or criticize them, often labeling the guy as a simp or accusing him of infidelity. Like when a guy is good to his girl, people are like, "Oh, he's a simp." And if a girl is good to her guy, they're like, "Oh, girl, stand up. What are you doing?" Or when mishaps happen in relationships, like what happened at the omah concert, people are quick to start making jokes, to criticize them, or just to put their 2 cents in, making the whole situation worse. And they use situations like this to fuel their pre-existing fears of relationships. I saw so many guys that were so quick to bash the girl who went on stage with omah. I know what she did was wrong, but I feel like some guys were just too happy to bash her, you know what I mean? And the same thing can be said for Risa as well. Women were quick to be like, "Oh my god, all men are crazy, I'm scared," you know what I mean? Even though that has some truth to it, I won't lie, maybe I'm biased because I am a woman, but that does have quite a bit of truth to it. Either way, the outcome with relationships always seems to be negative, especially on social media. And I know the omah situation didn't happen on TikTok, but I'm pretty sure the video was posted to TikTok anyways. I think it went viral on Twitter instead, but Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, the same thing. But as I was saying, the outcome always seems to be negative when it comes to relationships. And honestly, I could tell it was influencing me because let's say I'm scrolling on Instagram or something and I see a couple, I'm like, "Oh, he's probably cheating on her." And I had to be like, wait, let me check myself, because why am I so quick to assume the worst in men? And when I was talking to a lot of people, mostly women, about the "who the F did I marry" situation, a lot of them were like, "Yeah, I don't trust men anymore." I'm done with men. Men are tiring. I'm just so over it. I feel like this sentiment has been a long growing sentiment. I think it's honestly above TikTok. It's above social media. So it's like the Risa Tisa situation made women not trust men, and the omah situation made men not trust women. And these instances raise a broader question about the relationship dynamics between men and women. Online interactions often convey a sense of animosity between the genders. The tendency for men or women to readily criticize each other sparks contemplation about whether there's a deep-seated resentment between the sexes. I don't want to get into my love life too much on this video because I don't know who'll be watching my videos, so I'm not trying to start nothing. But I won't lie, I am biased when it comes to this department of love because I have not had that much success with it. But apparently, according to astrology, I'm supposed to meet the love of my life in April or August this year, so we'll see if that happens. But throughout this video, I was trying to talk about it objectively, but it is quite hard because love is something that affects us all and we all have our own experiences with it. So if you have a good experience, you're gonna have a good outlook on love. And let's say you have had bad experiences, you're gonna have a bad outlook on love. So it's very hard to be objective when it comes to love. Social media does play a big role in our lives, so it does make sense for social media to also affect our love lives. And despite social media's influence on our love lives, I feel like it's very important for us to approach love with a more positive mindset. Like, I'm not saying to go out and date, but just to at least have a positive approach when it comes to it, because being negative all the time is not going to help anyone, and it's definitely not going to help you. I basically grew up with technology, so I can't really talk about how life was without technology. I have like some memories of it, but I was too young to be dating, so I don't know how life was like when it came to dating without technology, so I can't really speak on that. But I have heard a lot of people say that it was better back in the day. However, a counter argument to that is the fact that a lot of people were shamed for leaving their partners, and divorce and separation were frowned upon, so people just tolerated more shit that they tell us now to not tolerate. Let me know if you think that love was better back in the day, if you're older, or if you think love is better now. Let me know. And now this generation has adopted a completely opposite outlook on life. Like, if you do anything wrong, social media will tell your partner to leave you, just like that. As much as it is important to not tolerate certain stuff from your partner, don't run to social media for advice. That will be our downfall. Our downfall is running to social media, especially TikTok, for dating advice. Like, if something's going on, talk to your family, talk to your friends, but not social media. And to answer the question of whether we are experiencing a love crisis or if it's just TikTok, that's kind of hard to answer. But if you have made it to this part of the video, please pause the video and comment down below what you think. I'm just curious, and comment it down below. Like, what are you waiting for? So love is a beautiful thing, contrary to popular belief. But the problem is that we are exposed to so much more people, and we are exposed to so much bad, because things that are bad always get more clicks and more attention. When shit hits the fan during these relationships, that is like broadcasted to the world. So that's what we're seeing. And in my case, I have seen a lot of bad relationships, whether it's my friends, family, or whatever. Like, I've seen it all. It's not just social media that's influencing me, but also the people around me. And the same thing probably applies to you. So that has really tainted my view of love. I'll be 100% transparent. I ain't gonna lie to you guys. It's really easy to have a negative outlook on love when we have TikTok and social media in general just showing us the worst of worst. And also, if you experience it yourself, it's very easy to have a negative outlook. But this is very cliche, but be positive and just don't only see the worst in people. I mean, also don't assume the best in people, because people can also disappoint you. The exposure to countless negative relationship stories, particularly on platforms like TikTok and social media in general, has undeniably colored my perception of love. I want to be completely transparent about this because I am not here to influence your views, but it's easy for negativity to seep in when you're constantly bombarded with stories that portray love in a less than ideal light. I would say the key is to resist the urge to compare yourself to others' experiences online, and turning to the internet for advice may not be the wisest choice. Just go to your friends and family, go to someone who you trust. Do not take advice from people online, please. Like, I am so tired of all these TikTok dating coaches and all their advice. Like, do not take it. Trusted family and friends can give you more valuable insights and can give you guidance that's tailored to your specific situation. The people on the internet, they don't know your specific situation. Like, they don't have all of the pieces to the puzzle to give you good advice. Every relationship is unique, And while external stories may offer lessons, they shouldn't dictate your understanding of love. It's an intricate and individual journey, and finding advice from people who actually care about you and know you will make a huge difference rather than getting all your advice from social media. Anyways, thank you so much for watching today's video. I appreciate you. That's all I got today. This is like a kind of a big topic though, so I feel like there's so much more to say, but I just didn't want this video to be like 5 hours long. But anyways, let me know your thoughts on what has happened these last couple of weeks. Do you think we are experiencing a love crisis? You know, is love not loving the way it used to? Are relationships dead? And what do you think about the omah situation? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? Or what about the who the F did I marry? Let me know your thoughts. I'm super curious to know what you guys think about those things. But yeah, let me know, and I'll see y'all later. So hola is hi. Wait, bye. What is bye in Spanish? Hola? I mean, whatever. Bye. And I just want to mention, by the time that girl, what you doing? Let me buy you a drink. Ooh.